Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's go and start our today's session. So basically, today we discuss about that how we can easily work with Google Earth Engine using R. Okay. So basically, we need to install all of package. So I already installed it. So today's session, I try to show you that how we can easily start with Google Earth Engine for R using the R programming language, because in the R we can easily find out lot of packages. Okay, so using this type of packages further we can easily use lot of analysis. Okay, so let's go. Let me
Okay.
share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So let's go. Okay, so here I already open the R Studio. So basically, first of all, we need to install a package. This package called the RGEE package, and this package mainly interacting with Google Earth Engine and R. Okay, so first of all, here I already installed it, this type of package. So just I need to import. Suppose if I just use here the library and write the package name, basically RGEE. So this is my package name, and this package I already installed it in my system. So now if I just run the code, you can see there is no problem. Okay, you can see it will be executed. It means that this package I successfully install it in my system. So after installing this package, then we need to authenticate with our connection with our Google Earth Engine account. So for that we already created so Google Earth Engine account. So if you check my account from here, just I try to simply search here. So we can easily find out this is my Google Earth Engine code editor. I already create this account, and this account if you check the all of code editor, it's a JavaScript, we already know about that. And this JavaScript we can easily write all of code. So now you can also check about my this is my cloud project name. So this is the cloud project name. So further this cloud project name you also need to use in the R Studio for connecting the Google Earth Engine server. Okay, so let's go try to do it. So for doing this thing, just use here EE, mainly Earth Engine, and put here authenticate, authenticate, and how I can authenticate. So basically, in this case, you can simply write here authenticate mode, authenticate mode or authorization code. It also okay. Suppose then we need to add the code. Mainly, it's a verification code. So in this case, we try to put here the authenticate mode and then mention here that notebook. Just put here the notebook. Okay, so just I write e authenticate and then authenticate mode I put here the notebook, and further just run the code. So now we find out the true. You can see it show the true. It means that this it's successfully authenticate. Okay, so here I already run the authenticate code, so that's why in this time it's not connecting with the Google Earth Engine. But when you do it first time, suppose you try to use it for the first time, then it automatically open a link in your browser. From this browser you simply connect your Gmail ID, mainly with Gmail you try to use to registration with the Google Earth Engine account. So simply connecting. So this connection I already done. So that's why when I just use it, it show the true. Okay. So in this time it not connecting again, because I already connecting. I already authenticate with my Google Earth Engine account with in RStudio. So that's why it look like that. It's true. So it's successfully done. After that, simply write here EE, then put here the initialize. So initialize, in this case you simply mention your project name, mainly cloud project name. So write here the project and put the cloud project name. So for my cloud project name is that Mijan GEE. So this is my cloud project name, and here I already create the cloud project. If you check it, so this is my cloud project name. Okay, so his name you want to show in here. Sometime this cloud project is the expired, because we are using the unpaid on Google Earth Engine, then you try to create again the cloud project, and further you can use it. So in this case, I create this cloud project, Mijan GE. So this same cloud project I also mention in here, and further if I just run it, then check what happened. So it's loading. Okay, it's successfully done. Okay, so there is no problem we face. Okay, there is no error we face. So now it's successfully connecting with our Google Earth Engine server with our programming language. So now in the server, if you check in the server docs tab, we find out all of server function. Okay, so now this type of server function easily work in my R Studio. Okay, some limitation also have, because when you work for suppose UI, so UI, suppose UI chart, so this type of function only work for that this code editor, UI dot chart, UI chart image. Okay, this type of UI related server function only work for this code editor. Okay, so this type of UI dot function, this type of function we cannot work with R Studio. Okay, because this UI or user interface, this type of function we can only handle using the JavaScript API code editor. Okay, it not also support by Python API. Okay, so for that we also need to add the another function, so we discuss later. Without all of UI function, we can easily work this type of function. Suppose you can see EE algorithm, EE array, EE classifier, EE cluster, EE confusion matrix. So all of function easily work in the R Studio code editor. Okay, in now, because I successfully connecting. So let's check one example. Suppose I create a number. Okay, and this number I want to store it in Earth Engine server. So how I can do it? So for that, I take a variable, suppose number, and now I create a server function. So I simply call the server function is that Earth Engine dot number. So you always remember that without dot notation, without just remove the dot notation, and always put here the dollar sign. Okay, otherwise all of those are the same. Okay, just remove the dot notation and remove and put here the dollar sign all time when you work with R Studio, mainly R programming. So just I put here EE dot number or EE dollar sign number, and I define a number, suppose 100. Okay, so now run the code and check what happened. You can see it also work, there is no problem. So further, if I just check it, suppose just I call the number, or I just print, suppose just I print this number and just run it, you can see it show the Earth Engine object. Okay, so now it work as a Earth Engine object. Okay, so it means that now this type of server function is easily work with my R Studio. It's successfully created. So now I can easily access all of Earth Engine data catalog. I can easily access all of Earth Engine data catalog, as well as Earth Engine all of images I can easily add in my map. Okay, so now your system or your environment is ready to use Earth Engine with Google Earth Engine using R programming or RGE packages. So let's check the another example. Suppose I want to load a dataset. So if you already know about that, because you already completed my 7 days online training program on Google Earth Engine, so I hope you already know about that, all of dataset, all of those you already know. So now I want to
Yes,
use a
yes, I know.
dataset. Yeah. So now suppose I want to use a dataset, any dataset. Suppose I want to simply search here a dataset, SRTM, NASA SRTM DEM data. Suppose I want to use this data, and this data I want to use in the R Studio. So how I can do it? So for that, if you check, just I simply click on it's my dataset, NASA SRTM dataset. So this is the dataset. Okay, so now this dataset I want to import in the R Studio, and further suppose I just want to create a DEM map or hillshade map or slope map. So let's go how we can easily do it. So for doing these things, first of all, just copy this ID. So basically this is the snippet ID, just copy and further open the studio and then paste here. Okay, so now take a variable name. Okay, you can put any name as a variable, we already know. Suppose I put the variable name is that dem. So this is my variable name, and we already know about that. Just remove the dot notation all time, just remove the dot notation and just put here dollar sign all time. Okay, so now this is my data set, and this data set is stored in this variable, and this variable name is the dem. So let's go try to just run the code and check what happened. It also worked, there is no problem. Suppose just I call the dem again and then I print this information. So it show that you can see Earth Engine object image. Okay, this is the image, and first one is the number. Okay, so image, number, image collection, geometry, feature or feature collection, all of those are Google Earth Engine data types. Okay, we can use the different types of data type. So in this case, this data type mainly it's a image data type. Okay, but previous time we find out that it's a number data type. So further we also check about that, suppose feature data type or feature collection data type, lot of data type we can easily handle. So let's go, just if I just put here suppose um, get info function, I simply add and run it. So now it provides me some information about this data set. So you can see I can get all of information about this data set. So you can see here, so basically all of description, properties about this data set we can easily find out from here. So it shows the all of information about the data set we can find out. Okay, you can see it shows the all of information for elevation or all of those you can easily find out in here. Okay, basically this data set is only one band, it's this band name is the elevation. Okay, so now I want to display a map. Suppose the dem data I want to the whole world I want to display this map. So how I can do that? Same process we already know. Just put here map dot, in this case we are not use the dot, we are just put here the dollar sign and put here add layer. Okay, then further you can see it show about the object name, then visualization parameter, then name, then shown operator. Okay, so in this case I simply call my dem because I want to visualize it. So dem, and further I just run the code. So now let's check what happened, if it will be show the dem map or not. Okay, so it visualize. So you can easily find out this type of dem map and it show for the whole world. Okay, global. Okay, further suppose I want to add the visualization. Okay, so here I already write the code for visualization. So let me copy from here. Suppose, okay, just I copy for the visualization, just we just make a list. Okay, just make a list, and this list we simply connecting, just paste here. Okay, and further I simply copy the variable name and paste after the object name, just paste here. Again, then I put the layer name. Suppose it's a dem, or you can put any name as a layer name. So now further run this code, visualization code, and also add the layer again. So now it also added the color. So you can easily find out this type of color. So here you can see it show the this type of color. So from it you can easily get the idea. This type of blue color it show about that low elevation, red is show about that high elevation, then also show about the yellow is the medium elevation. You can easily find out for that whole world elevation map. But you don't not need for the whole world. Suppose you need the this map only for that specific boundary. Okay, or a specific country boundary. So now how I can do it? Suppose I need the map only for the Africa region or any country or Saudi Arabia country, any country for a specific boundary. So for that you need to import your shapefile. Okay, shapefile mainly feature collection we can easily import. So different types of shapefile we can easily import. If you want you can also call the shapefile from the Earth Engine data catalog. Suppose simply search here the dataset USDOS. We already know about that. So basically this data set provide you the international country boundary polygon. So from where you can easily get all of international country boundary polygon. So I want to use the data. So how I can use it? So it's very easy. Just copy this snippet ID. Just copy and further paste in the RStudio. So simply copy this snippet ID. And then paste here. Suppose I just paste here. So now it's a feature collection. So you can see it's a show the dot notation. Just remove it and put here the dollar sign. And then just give a variable name. Suppose I put the variable name is that suppose table. Okay, it's a table. So now this table mainly stored the full all of feature collection, basically whole international country boundary polygon, all of polygon is stored in here. If you check, suppose just use here the table and then print it, so you find out it's a feature collection. So it's another kinds of data type. So feature collection, then image or number, so it's a feature collection. And this feature collection contains the all the country boundary in the world. So now I want to work for a specific country boundary or a specific region. So for that, these things I want to filter. So we already know about that, because in the 7 days online training program I already discussed about that, how we can easily filter the study area from USD website. So just I call the ROI, take a variable, and then I call the table. This table I want to filter. How I can filter? Earth engine dot filter dot equal, what's equal what, put here country NA and put the country name. Suppose I put the country name, suppose Bangladesh. Okay, so now we already know about that. Just remove the dot notation and put here the dollar sign all time. Just remove the dot notation and put the dollar sign. Okay, so now if I just run the code, it also okay. Suppose I want to add a layer for this shapefile, Bangladesh country boundary shapefile. So for that, just add a layer, map dot add layer. So in this case, dot is not available. Just remove it and put here the dollar sign and call this ROI, ROI, and then run the code. Okay, so now it's loading. So now you can see it display this map but not focus on my center of boundary. Okay, you can see we find out this in here, but it's not focusing. For the focusing, in the 7 days class I already discussed about that, how we can easily focus on the center boundary shape file. So for that same function we also use in here, put here the map dot center object, and then just remove the dot notation and put here the dollar sign. I want to focus on the object is that ROI and put the zoom level. Suppose I put the zoom level is that 7. Okay, so now run the code. You can see it show the note center obtained from the first element, and my element is the ROI. So I want to just add the layer. If I run the code, you can see again. So it now focus on my given study area. We can easily visualize. Okay, so this is my given study area. I just focus. So now these things I want to add with my dem data. Okay, so these things I want to just clip with my dem data. So for that, how I can clip? Very easy. Just use the same function. Suppose for that, just take a variable. I put the variable name. Suppose I put the name is that bd dem, and then I just call this previous dem data, because this dem data is for the whole world. Just I copy and paste here, and then just use here the clip function, clip with study area. I already defined the study area, which is ROI, and then remove the dot notation and put here the dollar sign. So now further just run the code. It not happen anything. I want to add the layer again. Just put here map dot add layer, and I want to add the layer for bddem. Just copy and paste here. And further I also want to add the visualization parameter. Just copy the name and then add, and further just run the code. So now, okay, you can see we just put the dot notation, that's why it show the error. Okay, so we must need to use here the dollar sign instead of the dot notation. So run the code again. So now we can see, we find out this type of map. So this is the dem map for the whole country boundary of Bangladesh. Suppose I need this map for another country, so just I simply put the name. Suppose I put the name for Saudi Arabia, and then I run the code and focus the center of the Saudi Arabia and also add the layer. So now we can find out it's a Saudi Arabia country boundary. You can find out in here, you can see it display. And now further I just simply clip with the boundary, and then I want to add a layer. So now it create this type of dem map for this Saudi Arabia boundary. We can create. Okay, and you can easily add different types of base map. Here you can see it already default some base map. It's a open street map. We can add for Carto DB. Okay, this is the block. Different types of history. You can see the history world imagery, mainly satellite view map. We can also add here, suppose you can see the open topo map. Okay, so different types of base map we also add in here. And I can see here a world imagery or also carto bd. So I want to use for suppose this world imagery. Okay, so this is one kind of map. Okay, in RStudio we can easily export this map as an image. Okay, suppose I can easily export it as a photo or image. But in in this code editor, if you already work with that, in this code editor mainly we download the tip imagery, and further we work with ArcMap or QGIS software. But in the RStudio programming, you can easily download this map as a photo or JPG format photo. Okay, suppose you add the legend, title, everything you can include in your map, and further you can just click on the export. You can see the export image as save as an image or save as a web page. Okay, suppose these things you can easily save as a HTML web page, and further this HTML file you can easily add it any data set, any web GIS project you can easily add. So in this case, suppose save as image, just click on here and you can see we find out this type of thing. Just simply zoom in or zoom out. Okay, just put the proper frame of your map, and further you can easily save it as a JPG format file. So you can see the image format JPG or PNG, and further you can save it. Okay, you can create the different types of base map. You can also add from here. Okay, and then just export or save this map. I can also create this map from here. So this is the another benefit to use the RStudio, because in the RStudio we can easily plot as a map. Okay, just simply you can put your directory and then save it, then click on the save, then you can easily get this type of map. So it's very another benefit. But in our in Google Earth Engine, this code editor, so basically we need to take the screenshot and also work. But in RStudio you can easily export as a image. Okay, so this is the one process. So now any data set in Google Earth Engine, you can see we already know about that it's a vast data catalog. So any kinds of map we can easily create using here. So let me show you the another example. Suppose I want to work for satellite imagery. Suppose I want to work for that Landsat satellite imagery, and further I want to display the image and calculate the different types of indices using RStudio. So how I can do it? So for that, just open your data catalog. Suppose I want to work for Landsat. Click on the Landsat. So in the Landsat, here you can see I want to work for Landsat 8. Suppose I work for that top of atmosphere reflectance satellite imagery, and this is my image collection. So first of all, this image collection, just copy this snippet ID from here, just copy and then paste in the RStudio. Just paste here this ID, just paste here. paste. Then give a variable name. You can put any name as a variable. Suppose I put the name is that uh, image. Okay, and we already know about that. Just remove the dot notation and put here the dollar sign. So now I just simply imported the image collection, Landsat 8, top of atmospheric reflectance. And further, I want to filter. I want to filter this image collection. And previous, in my 7 days online training program, I already discussed all of those, how we can easily filtering the satellite imagery, how we can easily use the different types of function. So it's the same function in this case we also use in here. So basically all time our server function or our docs function, this type of function all time will be same. Okay, for Google Earth, JavaScript or Python or R, all time this type of function will be same all time. Okay, so in this case, first of all, I need to use the filter bounds function. So how I can use it? So for using that, just I take this new line, for just put here this symbol to insert the new line, and then I just put here the function. It's called the filter bounds function. So just put here ee dot image collection dot filter bounds. Okay, this function is simply used in here, and we just simply remove that dot notation and put here this dollar sign, and also put here the dollar sign. And further, just put your study area. Suppose I need for this ROI, okay, for my boundary. Okay, then further write the same code, just I copy from here, just paste, and use here that um second one is that filter date. So just put here the filter date and put the specific time. Suppose I put the time is that year of 2021, 1st January, from year of 2021, suppose December 31. Okay, after that put here suppose filter metadata. I simply call filter metadata and put here the cloud cover operator less than, and set the value suppose 1. Okay, we take this 1% cloud cover imagery, and further all of images I just create the median composite. Okay, so for that just use here median. Okay, okay, so let's check. We try to, and all of time we have to use this type of symbol after the new line. So just put here. Okay, so now run the code. Okay, so we put the double dollar sign in here. I think that's why it create a problem. Just remove one and then select this line and run the code. Okay, so that is no problem, it worked. So let's we try to add the image and then check what happened. So let's put here map dot add layer this image. So now run the code. So now it create this type of images. You can see find out this type of images. but I want to clip with my study area. So for that, just use here clip with your study area, which is ROI. Okay, so now run the code again. Okay, it working. Okay, we try to clip later. First of all, we try to visualize this image. And then we try to add here. Okay, so it's okay. The further we try to add the clip for our study area. Okay, so now suppose I want to calculate for NDVI. Okay, so just I got this imagery. So now I want to use this satellite imagery, and further we try to calculate for NDVI and then check for what is the scenario of NDVI. Okay, so for doing these things, just apply here. Just take a variable, suppose NDVI, and further I just call this image, just copy, and these things I simply apply a function. We already know about that. It's called that normalized difference between two band. So for that, just make a list of this two band. So put here that band 5 near infrared, and also put here that band 4 for red. Okay, so just run the code, and now I want to add this NDVI. So for that, just add the map.add layer again, and put here NDVI and run the code. So now it add a NDVI map. Okay, creating. Okay, without color, we find out this type of map. Okay, and now I want to add a color. Suppose I just create a visualization parameter, just make a list. So put here that list, and put here suppose mean equal -1 and max equal +1. I just mention in here, and put the color plated, just make a another list, color plated equal C, and define the color. Suppose I want to show, suppose in here for blue color, no vegetation, then put here suppose white color, and then put here that green color for high vegetation. Okay, this type of color I will mention. Run it, and further these things I want to add with that vi set to run the code. So now this type of color also added in our map. Now let's check. but I want to clip with my study area boundary shape file, then it will be look more better. Okay. So for clipping that, just use here, suppose if I just use it and put here the clip with RY. So now let's check, run it, and also run it. So now it will be clipping with our study area, and we got the result only for this Saudi Arabia country boundary. It working. Okay. If we just try to stressing, suppose if I just simply put it that 0 to 0.5 max will just stress the data and then add the visualization. So now we find out this type of place have the vegetation, it's look more better than previous one. We find out in here. Suppose this map I need for my country, just if I just change the name of country, put here suppose Bangladesh, and run it, and further just map.center object, and also add the layer of Bangladesh, and I want to just add it for just add this image and calculate the NDVI, and also add the color, and then further map.add layer of image. So now it added the image layer. Okay, this is the image layer. Without visualization it look like that, but when you want to add the visualization of satellite imagery, it does look more better. I want to add the NDVI with the visualization. So now we can easily get this type of map, and you can identify this is the water body and vegetation. You can easily find out. You can also add the more color for the better map of vegetation, or any others you can add in here, then it will be look more better. And further just add here the different types of base map. Okay, if you want you can also add the title or other things, but one by one. Suppose I want to add it, and further just simply export. You can say the export as image.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
How to add the title?
Yeah, I will explain one by one. Just a minute.
Okay.
So just further just click on here, and let me save it, suppose desktop. Okay, and further I just save it. So now let's check the resolution. Okay, but it also take this part also. Okay, this code part is also taken here. Okay, let me check. Or save as a web page. Yes. It's save as a HTML format. Suppose I want to save in that desktop. Okay, so now it work as a HTML file. Okay, you can see this is the link, this is the HTML file, and this HTML file further if you want you can also add any kinds of other project work or other WebGIS work. You also add and display this type of map. Okay, so this is the process to adding the different types of dataset using Google Earth Engine. So further you also try to add other dataset and also create this type of map. So now I discuss about that how we can easily add the title. So for the adding the title, we already know about that. We have to work with ggplot. Okay, ggplot2 library. So this ggplot2 library we need to install, and further we need to work with that for adding the title.